Es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and well, Coons we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be, all around the world, worldwide. For all you MLS fans as well, you have a home here too. And lately, we've been definitely on our international game bag as well. But today, we'll break down another upcoming match at the Digs as the LA Galaxy has a chance to win 2 in a row and add to the momentum when they host the slumping DC United on Saturday, July 12th. The Galaxy will look to avoid the new coach bump from United, and they'll need to turn in another good performance to try and avoid playing down to their opposition. We'll be joined by special guest Peyton Bedouin of Talking Galaxy to look at what the Galaxy needs to do to start positively again. If Joseph Painter's brace has the Galaxy wingers poised for more success, if we might be looking at a second shutout in a row, and if LA can play another complete game and get the win. Plus, the Club World Cup comes to a close, and the Prince, who was promised, returns to the field, but is further away from game time than initially thought. All that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. I want to say thank you once again to everybody that's out there in chat and is listening to this episode, whether it's on playback or whether it's here live with us on YouTube. If you're out there on Instagram, on X as well, thank you so much. Remember, go ahead and jump over to YouTube at some point, show us a little love, hit that subscribe. I'm one of your hosts today, and hopefully always you let me be with y'all. Rob Halon. You can find my written work on Extra Time Talk and the Sporting Tribune, and you can find me on the interwebs there at the tag on the screen at El Escudero de LA. And let me bring to you, as usual, as well, El Papa de Natita, El Yerno Guapo, y El Gitano Perdido, Ananda Kirana, who will be taking Natita to the park for the first time, right, Papa?
Yes, sir. Breaking news. I'm going to take the pup to the pitch, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So, yeah, guys, if you haven't yet, you guys are a season ticket member and you are going to the game, if you got a pooch, hang out. Come hang out with us at the lawn. We'll be there enjoying the game. I'll be with the pup, and yeah, it'll be actually it'll be the first time I'm going to take in the match from the lawn area there, Rob. So it'll be
fantastic.
Fun. It'll be fun.
It's a good view. It's a good view. When I was a lad, way a long time ago, and you know, me and my friends would go to games and we'd get into our cups and we'd hang out there on the lawn, as you know you like to do when you're in a cup. So anyway, you'll enjoy it. But Ananda, we have a fantastic guest with us again. He's here one more time. We're going to get to hook up with our friend Peyton once again here in a couple moments. Guys, if you're out there, like I mentioned, hit that subscribe. We are on the march of 700. Help us get there by the start of the League's Cup. And if you have something pressing to get off your chest, if you just got to say it, if you just got to spill that team, man, you hit that super chat. We have them available now, and you can get whatever you have to say off your chest. Hit whatever question you want for us or Peyton. You know, hit Peyton up with those really interesting, hard-hitting questions, man. Get those super chats in there. But anyway, Ananda, hit that housekeeping before we hit a little bit of announcements.
Yeah, so you guys can always follow me, block me, or stalk me. Like I always say, at Ananda Galaxiana. You can find us on all of our socials with all of the coverage on this team on and off the pitch. Of course, that is at Lacuna Galaxiana. And yeah, you've kind of covered it all, Papa. So if we've got a VP of likes out there, I think Anthony Martinez is raising his hand. So guys, go ahead and smash those likes up for sure. And of course, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. Let's get into this preview, man. Well, first we got to get through some news, some shout outs. We've got a certain Prince who has seen time back on the practice pitch, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Again, that's pretty exciting there. But man, Papa, I'm just gonna say this right now. Looking at all the stats, because you know me, I'm a stat monster, and looking at all the stats in this game, those two words just staring at me, Papa. Those two dreaded words just staring at me.
No lo digas, no lo digas.
No.
I was actually going to ask Peyton about that in a little bit. So let's get through these announcements.
Let's do it.
The other day, I was actually asking myself, I wonder if anybody has actually stalked Ananda. But anyway, that's another conversation. That's for Lacuna Galaxiana after dark. Man, it sucks. Man, just how harsh life is, man. The football world was rocked just last week, you know, with Diego Jota, and we get more bad news today. Garth Lagerwey, Atlanta United president, he's been diagnosed with cancer. He's going to be taking an immediate leave of absence from anything and everything related to the club, as he rightly so should focus on his health. Man, Ananda, I've lost folks to cancer, and just, you know, I know this is a family show, but F cancer, man. It's terrible. So my heart goes out to the Atlanta United family. Anyway, Anthony Martinez hitting us up with the first super chat today. From Wooden Spoon to back-to-back champs. Oh man, from your lips.
Oh, man. And then he goes, "Sorry guys, too delusional chat, Papa. You know what? You're a dreamer. I'm not gonna hate on that. Keep on dreaming, Papa."
Yeah, that's where it starts, man. It starts with the belief, right? Nothing great was ever done without just belief in it. Speaking of doing great stuff, this man did a ton of great stuff in his time in Los Angeles. Happy birthday to the true Rey de Los Angeles, Robbie Keane. He turned 44 2 days ago at the time of this recording. I guess that would make it what or not. Do my maths for me, man. I don't even know what day we're on. That would be Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, Robbie Keane, as you all know, 3-time MLS Cup champion, 2011, 2012, 2014. Of course, he was instrumental in each of those runs. He scored in 2 of those MLS Cup finals. He's a 2-time Supporter Shield winner, 2011 and 2014, and MVP in the regular season and MLS Cup in 2014. 3-time All-Star, 4-time All-MLS selection, 104 goals for the Blue, White, and Gold, second all-time, and 45 assists, widely regarded as probably the best DP signing in league history. Certainly the one that changed the way we're supposed to measure DPs. So congratulations to him. Hopefully he's surrounded by friends and family. Getting into a little bit of game time news for Saturday. It is Filipino Heritage Celebration amongst another couple things on the calendar, but I wanted to call this one out because man, I love my Filipino brothers and sisters, and this is a fire hat that comes in the ticket pack, Ananda. So the first 150 tickets sold will come with the Heritage hat, Galaxy and Filipino Heritage hat. At last check, there was only like 5 or 6 tickets left for this promotion. So I've heard this one's going for $35. So if you want to come up on that, there that is. Also, it is SpongeBob night. So, if you're a SpongeBob fan, I ain't even gonna front. I have no idea anything about SpongeBob. I never watched it. But I mean, if that's your thing, man, July 12th, it's gonna be SpongeBob night at the Digs. Fans will have a chance to meet SpongeBob and Patrick in person. So I at least know who they are. And snag a limited edition SpongeBob hat. So go ahead and make it out for SpongeBob night. And really the event for this weekend that's captured my heart, and it always will because of the pups. It is Pups at the Pitch for the third year, and shout out to the homie Dave, because like Ananda said, this is his family here on this picture.
Yeah, shout out Lady Orona and Bruno.
Brunito. Man, we've had the good fortune to be at a couple of different events where Dave's had his family with him, and just shout out to him and his family. I hope they have a fantastic time. Ananda, I'm sure you'll be seeing them on the berm. So if you can't make it to Pups at the Pitch for this match against DC United on July 12th, you have 3 more opportunities to do so on the 10th of August, August 30th, and September 20th. But the September 20th one, Ananda, is probably the one that I'm going to be targeting to try to take young Lord Kobe Cosmo to, because that is the day that they turn Galaxy Park into Galaxy Doggy Park. There's going to be a complete takeover of dogginess there at Galaxy Park. So there's going to be giveaways and stuff like that. If you're a season ticket member, you can add this for free in your season ticket account. And if you're not, this one also goes for $35. Guys, we've called this one out a couple of times. When you buy a ticket for the Leagues Cup, you're supporting the hungry, those that don't have. For every ticket sold, 2 meals will be donated to those in need across North America. So go ahead and pick up a ticket for the Leagues Cup. And Ananda, this was the summer of soccer here in the United States. The Gold Cup is over. We talked about that. Congratulations to Mexico for coming up champs on that one, despite the controversy. But now we're getting to the end of the Club World Cup. In Tuesday's match, Chelsea beat Fluminense 2-0. 2 cracker, stunning golazo, João Pedro goals gives them the win. The $50 million man not letting his new team down. He didn't celebrate. He's a former Fluminense player, so good on him. And then Wednesday, I know that there's a match that you're going to want to forget really, really quickly. It was a 4-0 drubbing of Real Madrid by PSG, and outclassing even. That's Fabio Ruiz brace. Dembele gets on the score sheet as well as Ramos. And now the final is set. Chelsea versus PSG, Sunday, July 13th at 12 p.m. PSG, the European champions, look to become the Club World Cup champions as well. It's pretty striking. They're on a roll.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, this PSG team, by the way, that's going to be a cracker of a final. But dude, let me give you a mind-blowing stat for a second about PSG, right? In their last 7 games since the Champions League final, they have destroyed their opponents, Rob, 21-1 on aggregate, with 6 out of 7 clean sheets. Let me read them off to you. Champions League final, PSG 5, Inter Milan 0. First game of this tournament, PSG 4, Atletico Madrid 0. Botafogo 1, PSG 0, the only blemish on their record. And then from there on, PSG 2, Sounders 0. PSG 4, Inter Miami 0. PSG 2, Bayern Munich, not no minnows, Bayern Munich 0. And PSG 4, and the best team in world football, Real Madrid 0. Right? But it's funny that I just say that, because that's ridiculous. 21-1 on aggregate. So, dude, even if they lose on Sunday, has PSG already cemented themselves as the best team in the world at the moment?
Yeah, they're definitely a well-oiled machine right now. They outclassed several top teams in Europe, like Atletico Madrid, Bayern, Real Madrid, and it hasn't been by a little bit. They've looked like the real deal on the field. They play for each other. They're bought into Luis Enrique's system. Yeah. And Dembele's been having a fantastic season. I mean, he's scoring goals for fun. Everybody is getting in on the action. And yeah, if they're not talked about amongst the best teams in the world, they really should be. And if they win this match against Chelsea, I think it kind of cements a banner year for them. And they're doing it without the man they tried so hard to hang on to, Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. And to top that all off, Rob, there was a quote by Jamie Carragher, who's obviously a pundit now, ex-Liverpool player. I think he gave him the highest compliment, but he said, watching PSG is like watching Pep's Barca, I can't give them a higher compliment. And by the way they're playing, absolutely. It's all the things that you said. They work hard for each other. They press in numbers. Reminds you a lot of that old Barcelona team where it's not just about the technical ability and the ability to score goals at will, but it's a togetherness. It's hunting in packs like wolves, right? And that's a huge mark of a great team. And yeah, it'll be a very, very fun final this Sunday in New York.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we called it a couple episodes ago. If Real Madrid didn't win, then we both wanted PSG to win. So PSG, good luck to you guys. U.S. Open Cup action here in Tuesday's games. Minnesota beat Chicago 3-1 after extra time. Austin beat San Jose in penalties 4-2 after ending 2-2 in regulation. And on Wednesday, just yesterday, Nashville took out the Galaxy's next opponent, DC United, 5-2. United actually jumped out into the lead, but ended up getting a Johnny Bettis golazo to tie the game, and they couldn't hang on after that. They got Johnny Bettis, son. Philly and New York Red Bull still have their match to be played on August 13th to see who faces off against Nashville in that one semifinal. The other semifinal is Minnesota versus Austin on September 16th. So on September 16th, we'll know who the finalists are for the U.S. Open Cup. Really quick with VCFC before we get to our special guest here. VCFC, this next match against St. Louis City, Ananda, is a huge one. St. Louis City 2 is in first place at the moment. VCFC had been riding in first place all year. They had a little bit of a slip up recently, so they're in second place. They're 5 points behind the leader, St. Louis City, right now on 30 points. But on July 16th, they face off, and the Galaxy can go ahead. VCFC can go ahead and cut that lead to just 2 points. Good luck to VCFC. Man, it would be wonderful if they took that title home, man, and just added to the lore from the academy, because the academy has been winning titles.
Yeah, bro. Really quick before we move on and bring on Peyton, this comment right here by Anthony Martinez, Papa. Woo! Free Jollibee with the free hat, bro. That would absolutely slap. I would gobble up those ticket pads just for that Jollibee, Papa. I
actually am going to end the pod now so I can go get Jollibee. That
sounds so good.
So fire. Well, let's not delay anymore, man, because really the only reason I'm really here is to talk to this guy. So I know everybody in chat's really only here to talk to this guy and hear his opinions on the Galaxy and what's going on. So let's start focusing on everything. Let's start shifting our focus there on the Galaxy. There's a lot to get through, and the homie, he's back. His Instagram handle is Galaxy Buzz. You can find him there. Welcome back, Peyton Bedouin of Talking Galaxy. Papa, muchas gracias. Thank you so much, man.
Welcome back.
No, I'm honored. That was a great introduction. I feel very flattered. The vibe is a lot better than last time I was on here. Ooh. Honestly, back-to-back home wins. I think Galaxy fans are starting to finally take a deep breath and say that, hey, this, we could take some moral victories out of this season. And, we still have dreams that maybe something else can come of it. But, there's still a long way to go for the Galaxy. But I'm really happy to be back here. Thank you guys for having me again.
All day, man.
We still got two trophies to play for, Papa. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
we could win the double.
Whoo! The double and the wooden spoon. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah,
crazy,
there you go.
Yeah, treble.
No, but yeah, man, you mentioned wins and back to back home wins, right? Let's talk about this last one real quick. You know what it is. On the show, we get the one word reaction from the guests. So let's get your one word reaction from this last victory, and maybe your overall thoughts on that one.
Yeah, fireworks, on and off of the pitch. I would say is my one word reaction to that match.
You went Katy Perry on him, I see.
Yeah, exactly. Coming into the game, I was really kind of expecting the worst. We went on our podcast, and I think this was the first time all year that everybody unanimously agreed that we were going to lose this match. And when we agree on that, we end up having our biggest win of the year. So, it kind of goes to show that nothing in Major League Soccer is predictable. I think all of these teams are separated by, like 1 or 2%, really. The party in this league is incredible, and you could see it on full display here. But man, the offensive showing was great. Watching Joseph Paintsill get his confidence back and have a brace was amazing to watch. I love that man so much. But we should also give some credit to the defense here. Underrated. They kept a clean sheet in this match against the second place Vancouver Whitecaps. That can't be understated coming from this back line. We had a lot of questions about it. Maya Yoshida, maybe regressing a little with age, comes back into the starting lineup, but it was fireworks. And then obviously off the pitch, it was fireworks. After the game, they had a great fireworks show. So yeah, 4th of July game, success. I'm very glad to come out with a good result from this one.
Yeah, we'd been talking for a little bit about how we were hoping the Galaxy gave the fans something to cheer about on the 4th of July, and they certainly did. You mentioned, there's not a lot in separation from the teams with the Galaxy, right? It's slim margins, like Greg always talks about, and there were moments here at the beginning where I thought, hey, if they don't get with it, they could get surprised again. Right, Vancouver's an explosive team, but they end up getting the win, just like in direct opposition to everything else that's happened this season. They've played really well in other matches, and they haven't gotten the results. So, for you, what was the key difference in this win versus where the Galaxy played well? They made chances, and they left some on the table, but they, like you said, good offensive display, but there wasn't that much different from the losses, or was there? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, offensively, I wouldn't say it's much different. I think this Galaxy team has shown in recent times that we can score goals. That's never been the issue. It's how many goals we concede right now. And the fact that we're able to really limit Vancouver, the only huge chance I saw Vancouver that was like, yeah, okay, they're going to score this, was the free kick that Novak Mitrovic makes a great save on. That was amazing to watch. Should have been save of the week. I don't know if it was, but that was,
the over the head one where
yeah. The defensive display was absolutely brilliant from the Galaxy. I haven't seen anything like that all year. I think it was our best collective performance. Usually, it's either the offense is kicking and the defense is not doing so great, or it's the other way around. But I think in this match, you saw what we've really been looking for all year from the LA Galaxy. And it really proves that, we can compete with anybody in this league, because Vancouver made the CONCACAF final. Obviously got battered in it, but that's a different story. It's just like, we competed with this Vancouver team twice. If it wasn't for a Zonka mistake, we would have not lost to Vancouver at all this year, and that's the second place team in the West. I think the Galaxy have definitely proven in this match that they're capable of putting, a 90-minute display. This was a 90-minute display from the LA Galaxy, from the opening whistle to the final. I believe that the Galaxy played their best collective performance of the season, and it was more about, the team as a whole, and it wasn't one individual trying to carry it all. Everybody was very unselfish on the night, and I like to see that.
Yeah, no, I mean, Greg said exactly that, Peyton. Greg hailed the complete performance, I believe was the exact word, the exact phrase that he used, and it really was. I mean, there's been a couple of times this year where you've mentioned, the offense has played great, but the defense has been less than great, and then vice versa. I feel like this is the first time that they've both synced up with wonderful performances and put it over a 90-minute display, a complete display.
I mean, I think, guys, it's also about game management and how we manage the game throughout. We got an early goal, which we don't do a lot this year. I think that was the earliest goal we've had this year. But you think about games like San Diego, where you score in the first half and you give up a goal just a minute after. And we've had so many of those moments where we don't manage the games in the right way. And the fact that we got into halftime at 1-0, that was a start. That was a positive. Novak Mitrovic kept it at a 1-0 lead early in the second half. That could have been a goal that changed the momentum either way, but we held on, and finally we got that breakthrough second goal, which I think was a huge one. And it's just how we managed the game from there on. So we can talk about sort of the nuances and little tactics and just how the team played for each other. But I think game management, was something that Greg talked about as well. And it was nice to see, like you said, Peyton and Rob, like you guys said, complete 90-minute performance and how we managed that game. And that's something that I don't think we could talk about or tell about this Galaxy team really all year.
Well, now they're screwed because we know they can do it now. We've seen it in 2025, so now they need to replicate that. Zlatan Goat says, Rob, true chance to make the playoffs. Ask me at the end of this 4-game stretch. Ask me at the end of the LAFC match, and we'll see if the Magic 8 Ball saying yes on this one. But if they win those 4 matches, it's gonna be crazy not to start hoping.
And I'm gonna be upset. I told you last pod, I'm gonna be upset because it's the hope that kills me with this damn team.
Yeah, well, they like I said, there's a lot to do before that. 3 matches, 2 at home and 1 away to your rival. But we were talking about complete performances. The Galaxy is close to being complete again, and it's because this week we finally heard that the prince who was promised, aka Ricky Rocket, aka Ricky Butch, he is back and he's looking happy. Peyton, you know what, man? You're a handsome devil, but Ricky Puig, I mean, he's happy and smiling over here, and I can see why he's getting those endorsements and stuff like that. Bien guapo, el man, right? So anyway,
Perfect
he looks,
hair, just perfect.
Yeah,
hair.
no, perfectly coiffed, right? Super happy. And the Galaxy community, Galaxy fans, Galaxy Landia was elated to see these comments after 220 days of injury or being away from the pitch. He's back. Greg actually took questions about this today. He says it's great to have him out there again, just his energy, his spirit, but the guys are joyful just to see him out. But Peyton, after all the elation of Ricky Puig being back, Greg lets us know that he's still more like months away, more than weeks away. So, for me, that puts me maybe like in September, October territory. Greg says that depends how Ricky handles his different levels of activity. But were you disappointed? Well, first off, what was it like seeing this man come back to the pitch? I mean, there's a phrase in Spanish says, vuelve el fútbol. Soccer is back, right? What was it like for you to see this guy back on the pitch? And was it really disappointing to hear Greg's comments today?
Dude, I literally got out of the pool and I get a notification from Twitter and I'm like, okay, what's this? And I'm like, Ricky? Like, really? Ricky's back? Like, I thought it would have been a bit later, but obviously it made my day. This is the moment we've been waiting for all year. Everyone's been asking, when's Ricky coming back? When's Ricky coming back? And, this isn't a return, to actual games, but it's something. And it's, it's what we've been looking for all year, pretty much. Just a little glimmer of hope that, hey, if this Galaxy team can string together some wins over the next few matches, maybe we can make a playoff push if Ricky's there the final couple games. However, I said it on my podcast, and I do truly believe this, is the fact that it was going to be a while.
Shout it out, son. Shout it out.
Talking Galaxy. Shout out Talking Galaxy, everyone. Make sure to subscribe if you already haven't. We have Instagram as well. Yeah, I said it on the podcast before. I was like, when Ricky comes back to the practice field, it's going to be a great moment. Obviously, it goes without saying. The morale boost this serves for the team is huge, I'm sure, going into this DC United match. They want, they won MLS Cup for Ricky. Now they probably want to make playoffs or put themselves in a position for Ricky to be, contributing at the end of the year, for sure. But it doesn't surprise me that it's going to be a while for him. It doesn't surprise me because coming off of an injury this big, you practically have to relearn the game. It's going to be difficult agility wise, I'm sure. Some of the movements that he makes as an attacking midfielder and how small he is as a player, it's going to be difficult. And he might be second guessing himself, at times, even on the practice field when he's, taking certain touches on the ball or trying to do the things that he used to be able to do perfect. And maybe he's struggling a little bit at it. Obviously, it's a process. And I think the Galaxy are just beginning to start that real, core part of that process where it's like, yeah, you rehabbed, but the hard part really starts now, I think, for Ricky. And I'm excited. Every Galaxy fan smiled at this, I'm sure.
Anandita, I was heartened because your countryman of the adopted country of Spain, Rose, he put something
Yeah.
up on his socials the other day about how, I think it was on Tuesday actually, after his first day of training back, of Ricky's first day of training back, he put something up on his socials about how, this man is a beast. As soon as he's done with training, he hit me up. Let's go work out in the gym, and he came and kicked my butt in the gym. Like, so yeah, he's months away, but it seems like he's responding well. I mean, Greg says, it depends on how he handles different levels of activity. According to all reports so far, he seems to be handling it pretty well. It was also pretty fly to see Ricky in that, perhaps the new Menace and Galaxy drop. Ananda, do you think they're going to bring back the same jacket, or do you think they're going to come out with the version 2?
Oh,
Peyton,
I
same
mean,
question.
they're teasing the jacket, so I'm assuming it's gonna be like a version 2 of the jacket. But dude, that jacket was a statement piece. Every time I see that jacket in the stadium or out on the streets, man, I'm like, yo, that is the statement piece for sure. But it's nice to see Edwin Cerillo as part of those as well. They did a little, whoever did the production on that, by the way, fire. They did a little teaser on Instagram as well. So shout out to Menace, man. They're doing good things out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Steven M. Menace is always killing it. Peyton, what do you think? They're coming back with version 2, or they're going to re-release the original?
I think it's going to be version 2, honestly. I think if they're teasing this, I'm sure there's a lot of hype around a version 2 potentially. So I'd like to see them try something new with it, even though the first one was a banger. It's like, make
Yeah.
the second one a classic too. I'd love to see them go back to back with it, and I think that's what they're teasing. But either way, I will be trying to get my hands on that, I'm sure.
Well, Baba, if it's purple, I know you copping it. If they do a
Yeah.
purple version of that,
yeah.
I know you're copping that, Baba.
Oh, yeah.
I know you and your purple. You love it.
I love my perps. Peyton, by the
Hey.
way, there are some heinous allegations going on about you in chat.
Oh.
I don't know if I don't know if you're aware, but there are some just heinous allegations happening right now. I mean, I just got to say, as your attorney and spiritual advisor, I would probably tell these folks that they're wrong. But
Rob, real quick, before we move on to the next topic, real quick about Ricky, right? The one thing that I've been thinking about Ricky, and this is going to be like the most important thing, I think, in his rehab or his comeback, which is I always look at players, especially like Ricky, and how they create separation from their defender, and what are the tools that they use to do that, or what type of player is that. Now, for him, it's very much like he's one of those guys, and I think Greg has said it before, he's one of those guys that dribbles, that goes faster with the ball than without the ball, right? He is absolutely rapid with the ball in his feet. So I'm looking at two things when he comes back. His burst of pace over the first 5 yards, because you saw him over the years with the Galaxy just wriggle out of pressure. He gets that first step on those guys and he's off. He's gone, right? He wriggles away from pressure. And of course, coming back from an ACL now, how does his body handle that, right? The pivoting, the sort of planting of that foot and getting that acceleration off over the first 5 yards. And of course, the other thing too is the stamina, right? Like, how does his knee hold up over those long bursts, those 30, 40-yard runs from his own half into the depths of midfield into that final third? So that's what I'm really going to be looking at, because I don't think his touch and his quality, his first touch, I don't think those things go away. That's just more repetition. But the biggest things that make him sort of the top 1% of MLS are those things, man. And that's going to be the real test to see how he develops that over time. And are his different makers in his toolkit, are those going to come back like they did before? That's a huge question mark, man.
The blessings keep coming our way, y'all. Blessing Pencil hitting us up with that super
blessings,
chat,
man. Thank you,
muchas gracias. Blessings to you, sir. Let's get into some transfer rumor stuff, guys. The two that won't seem to go away, right? Gabriel Pecchi and Julian Aldo. Let's start with Gabriel Pecchi, right? The one that won't go away is obviously the links to him to Palmeiras. The latest is Christian Moraes in Brazil says that the Galaxy has given the green light to Palmeiras to begin negotiations or approach him. we'll try to get some clarity on that and see if that is actually what's going on there. But at the moment, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I did have an opportunity to ask Greg about this today. I pretty much point blank asked him if he, was looking to count on Gabriel Pec for the rest of the season. And he kind of, gave me an answer without giving me an answer. He spoke more about the collective than he said that he isn't really privy to those kind of conversations or this as close to those conversations as we might think. So didn't really get too much more out of this situation here, but Galaxy bought this man for about 10. Peyton, is the Galaxy selling him for uneven 10? Breaking even on him, is that a bust for the Galaxy? Should they hold out for a little bit more, or should they just hold out in general? Should they not even get rid of him?
Yeah, first of all, who made this graphic? They need to work on their Photoshop skills for sure.
Hey.
I know that guy.
I will say in regards to Gabriel Pec, I have talked to some people within his camp, and I can say that they're not really aware of any approach right now. So as far as Gabriel Pec's concerned, it's not advanced enough, at least on the player side. They haven't even been approached. So I think I don't think this is going to happen. And second of all, if the Galaxy break even after he won Newcomer of the Year, I think it'd be a major loss. And then you also got to take into the account that Vasco has a 30% sell-on clause to Gabriel Pec. I believe it's 30% to Gabriel Pec, meaning that any future sale, they're going to get a large chunk on. So if we sell him for $10 million right now and break even, we're going to still lose.
Right.
We're still going to lose. So in my opinion, you need to rebuild his value a little bit. It's not nearly as high as it was last year, but I think in 2026, with the right tools around him, his value will skyrocket. And with Ricky being back, it makes the whole team back, but especially, Pec and Paintsville. They thrive off of his service, and, everybody game plans around Ricky Pooch, and when opposing teams game plan around him, you got Gabriel Pec and Joseph Paintsville on either wing, and then that's a real issue for teams in 2026. I think his value will be rebuilt next year, but right now, if it's $10 million, if it's not over $20 million, I'm not taking it for Gabriel Pec. There's no rush to sell him. And another thing on this that I feel like a lot of people haven't talked about is the fact that it's back to Brazil. I don't think that makes a lot of sense with him. Obviously, in terms of, exactly. And in terms of success, I think that team's had, more success than Vasco did, but it's a move back to Brazil. I think Pec wants Europe. If this was a European team calling and maybe throwing $15 to $20 million, it might not really be our choice if Pec just wants to make that move now. You almost couldn't blame him for jumping off of a, potentially, sinking ship, but I feel like Pec is not going anywhere this year, at least. Maybe next year. I feel like the earliest is summer 2026, but I don't think there's much truth to this. But yeah, they certainly could be interested.
Spoke to Greg about Julian Aude as well, and he was a little bit more direct in his speaking about Julian Aude, and he said that Julian Aude was a player that he liked, player that he sees a lot in. Your thoughts on this one? Should the Galaxy be looking to, recoup on a player who might be graduating out of the U22 initiative soon? A guy who seemingly lost his starting spot, has gotten a couple starts recently, but the Galaxy paid a hefty fee for him. What do you think, Peyton?
I mean, this one is tough for me because if truly Greg Vanney is not going to start him like he's been most of this year, obviously he's gotten back-to-back starts for the LA Galaxy. I'd love to see that. I like Aude. If it were up to me, he would not be going anywhere because I believe in his potential and I believe his ceiling is higher than John Nelson. last year, John Nelson was exactly what we needed at that position to get across the line. This year, I think Ade is, he's more suited for the role, and I believe in his potential in a year like this where you have Novak Mitrovic starting, all of these, more so high upside guys like Nascimento starting, might as well give Ade a chance, make it at least, in my opinion, give him till the end of the year. Give him till the end of the year and see if he's your guy at the left back position. If he's still struggling and there's European offers on the table or back to Argentina, like we've seen a lot from these rumors, I think you can take that. But it's, in my opinion, if Greg Vanny wants to, open that spot up and reinvest it next year, and they just don't find left back to be a valuable enough position, especially considering him and John Nestlin are pretty close in skill level right now. I believe in Ade's upside a little more, but if you want to use that U22 spot next year and perhaps more of like a crucial position, I can't blame them. But me personally, that wouldn't be my move, because I like what I like his potential, and I like what I've seen from him, especially in these last 2 games. So I wouldn't do it.
Peyton, you were kind of wearing your GM hat a little bit right there. So I'm gonna go back to a GM type question for you here. You're Will Kuntz. What would you be prioritizing in this transfer window?
Honestly, I think another center back. If you're able to open cap space through perhaps trading somebody, like we carry 4 goalkeepers. I don't think we have a need for that many goalkeepers on the roster.
Absolutely.
If you're able to, offload one of them, most likely John McCarthy, I think Mitrovic has proven that he's the guy right now. So John McCarthy is making over 400K, I believe. And if you could get some allocation money, there should be teams interested in him too. This is a 2-time MLS Cup champion. This guy's been there and done that literally as recent as last year. So I think the market should be there if he wants to move. I know he's raising a family right now. He has a newborn child. Around
so
MLS
cute
Cup
though, man.
Yeah.
So cute. We saw them the other day coming through the press box, and so if he does leave, I mean that would just break my heart for his family. I mean, because lovely people.
Yeah, absolutely. So John McCarthy could be one of those guys if they need to open up allocation money. And another guy, like we just talked about, I think Ade is also in that range. Not necessarily something I would do, but if you're able to convert that money into general allocation money, like you did with Dejan Joveljic from a U22 sale, then you're able to, widen things out and allow you to breathe a
more
little
flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. So that could also be a move that the Galaxy look to make. And, I think those 2 guys could open up a lot of cap space for the Galaxy. More realistically, John McCarthy, but I think the Galaxy will look to be a bit more of sellers than buyers. And Greg Vanny kind of talked about that. The fact that, if the pieces are in place, if things fall into line, then yeah, sure. They would explore something. But right now, it's just they're not in a great position. We have $0 right now. So any big names you see linked to the Galaxy, I feel like is all agent stuff right now. But I would go for a center back, maybe within MLS. Just a guy to add competition to that room, because look at it. You get one injury to Maya Yoshida, and he hasn't even been playing great. So last match he was great, but you get the sentiment. Our center back depth is very limited right now. If you could add more competition to that room, I think it's to the Galaxy's great benefit, in my opinion. So I would definitely look at the center back position. I think midfield is fine. Front 3 is fine right now. Just defensively, I think the Galaxy could use some reinforcements.
But Rob, I think we could probably all agree, and probably everyone in chat too, that I think what we're talking about here is more around the fringes of the team, right, of the roster. But if I were Will Kuntz, I mean, I would more than anything just prioritize long-term thinking in 2026 success. Like, that's the number one thing. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't, make moves short-sightedly, which we've seen in the past with the LA Galaxy. You make these, whether it's a big name or a guy that's maybe past his prime and, is basically a Band-Aid for the next season or 2. And we get into those really, really interesting contract situations, right, Rob? And I think the number one thing that we've got to prioritize is just the success for next year. I think the nucleus is there. We don't need to swap out any DPs at the moment. even our max 10 players, you ride out with Marco and Diego for the rest of the year, and you keep that nucleus together. And like Peyton said, if you want to do something, I would just do it around the fringes, but not out of necessity, but really just more out of a luxury position. You've got to keep that nucleus together because I think you're still building something for 2026, and we don't want to lose sight of that because we've seen how quickly things can change in this league from one year to the next.
Well, I personally agree with Peyton, man. That center back position is a worry. We haven't really seen Zavaleta too much, but he would be your fourth center back option, right? And at this point, Zavaleta's been a great servant to the club, despite what a lot of people say. When he's come in on occasion after having not played for like 15, 16 matches, and he's put in a performance for the Galaxy, so good on him. But yeah, I think the Galaxy need to reinforce at least that position in the back line. And when you say the fringes, I mean, I'm really looking for the Galaxy to add a player that can come off the bench and make a difference. There's and you see that in, is there a Parente who is very, very good in the midfield when he comes off the bench. But I would like to see an attacking player, maybe a younger attacking player that can develop, that can maybe make somewhat of a contribution this year, but like you guys mentioned, is more of a project piece for 2026, because 2026 are bust at this point, right?
Yeah, well, that's something we haven't even talked about, which is pathways for these younger guys, Isaiah Parente, Tucker Lepley, Harbor Miller. Is there a pathway to the first 11 for any of these guys? Of course, we're not there every day. That's something that the coaching staff has to decide for themselves. Mo Cuevas, right? Are any of those guys, do we think any of those guys are going to make the step up like an Edwin Cerillo type, where he is, if not a fixture in the starting 11, at least fighting for a place in the starting 11? So that's something we haven't even considered as well. So again, this is all, I think in the end, though, we can't make any rash decisions. And like you said, I agree with you in the center back position. God, I miss Jalen. But that's another story for another day. But yeah,
Jalen, come back. Come back to me, Jalen. You're the truth. Guys, let's get into some game time stuff. Of course, the Galaxy will be playing against DC United, but in the lead up to this match, in all the feel good in Galaxylandia, they're really feeling it over there in DC. They have just fired their coach. Troy Lesesne and top assistant Zach Prince were relieved of their duties. Earlier in the week, speculation was that they'd agreed terms with Peter Vermees. However, the stash, Tommy Bogert, broke the news that DC United had agreed terms with Swiss manager Rene Weiler to become the club's next head coach. Weiler previously managed at Anderlecht, Al Ahly, and Servette. And I think we have a graphic, a nice little photo of Weiler here looking all cheeky. That's the cat that ate the mouse right there, man. Well, he definitely knew something that we didn't, because Lesesne gets fired. Just a couple days later, Weiler becomes head coach. So it looks like DC United had that plan. We have a super chat from our good friend XPH, executive producer Herb. Late to the show. Any updates on Johnny Pettis and Vivi's status? Well, Johnny Pettis has scored a class goal against DC United. No word really on his on his status as a player, whether he's going to get bought out there in Nashville, or whether he's going to come back to the Galaxy at some point. Really a question though, XPH. We're going to have to get Will Kuntz back on the show and maybe hit him up with some of these questions.
Rob, was his loan extended at Nashville? Was that a done thing? I can't remember now. I'd have to look that up.
I don't remember the particulars of the deal
for the rest of the year. Well, it was the original deal was an 18-month loan with an option. Well, they could extend it. The Galaxy could buy them back this summer. So I don't know if it's been triggered. Well, obviously not on the Galaxy side, it hasn't been triggered, but not sure if Nashville is going to keep him for the rest of the year. I don't know. I need to probably read up on that. Yeah, I might fact check that while you guys.
Peyton, do you remember the particulars of that Bettis deal, or where he actually stands on that at the moment?
I genuinely don't know.
Yeah,
I
we're
wish I could tell you.
we're gonna have to see if we can get Will Kuntz on here and maybe he can give us a refresher on some of these. We do know XPH the last we've heard on VV is that he is back with the Galaxy. He is training. However, since there is no international spot, he's kind of hanging out at the moment. There's really been no clarity on what they're going to do with him. Man, Ananda, you should hit up Will Kuntz on the bat phone, man, and see if he can come through. But XPH, sorry, we don't know more on that one, man. We'll go ahead and work hard to get you an answer on that one. But this man Weiler comes in. Who knows if he'll be on the bench for the first time against the Galaxy? Most likely, knowing the Galaxy's luck, he will, and he'll put a masterclass on, and DC United will get that new coach bump. But what do you think, Peyton? Do you think the Galaxy should be wary of this new coach bump, or do you think if they come out and just play their game, it shouldn't matter?
Look, I would love to say that it won't matter regardless, but the new coach bump is real. And I've seen it happen time after time in Major League Soccer where this, bottom of the barrel team ends up sacking their head coach and then they win the next match with the interim. I think whether it's the interim or this guy, I think they're going to have a lot of, renewed motivation and sense of hope that they want to get the season back together. The fact that they appointed a head coach so quick, I don't know if I've ever seen a head coach be, appointed that quickly within
that was
firing
fast.
Major League Soccer. The fact that, they appointed him that quick shows that DC United think that the season could be salvaged. And if you're a player on that team, I think the fact that they already hired a guy, will give them a sense that, hey, let's go out to LA and let's get 3 points. They're going to have a lot more motivation now to get 3 points. So they're able to turn their season around. But, DC United as a team, I wouldn't, outside of Christian Benteke, I'm not too worried about them, honestly. But, it takes one player to impact a game. How many times have you seen an individual player have a masterclass against the LA Galaxy? And Benteke's his aerial ability against Maya Yoshida, it scares me, man.
Right.
So you never know what could happen, but I'm a little wary of that.
That's definitely something to watch out for. The aerial battle in this match. Benteke is a monster in the air. So since that is an area that the Galaxy have typically not been great at this year, definitely a place where DC United could hurt them. But Saturday's match marks the 52nd meeting across all competitions between these two teams. The Galaxy does lead the all-time series 21-19-12. And they hold a 20-17-11 record in league play. In 22 all-time regular season matches played at home against United, they hold an 11-5-6 record. In the last match played between these two teams, they played to a 2-2 draw on the 4th of July, 2018. And the Galaxy are unbeaten in the last 10 at home against United, dating back to 2006. So that's a good streak for the Galaxy. That bodes well for them, right? However, in the last meeting between the teams in league play, the Galaxy did lose 3-0, but that was on the road at Audi Field in 2023.
And that was 2023. 2023 doesn't count, Rob.
Ooh.
Remember?
Oh, is that what we're saying? Are we playing? Are we doing revisionist history now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Neither does 2025.
Ooh. Yeah.
Unless we win a trophy somehow.
Yeah.
Only 2024 matters at this point. Guys, let's look at this league table here. Ananda's done us the service of.
I need to squint for this one.
Doing us the favor of hooking up both the West and the East. But after 21 matches, the Galaxy holds a 2-13-6 record, 22 goals for, 42 against, on 12 points, double-digit points. Woo! 0.57 points per game, negative 20 goal differential, 15th in last place. However, there is starting to be hope after a lot of disappointment at the beginning of the year. Only one loss in the last 5 games. They've scored 9 goals in the last 5 matches, and they've posted 2 straight shutouts in the last 2 matches played at home, dating back to May 31st. And man, that's heartening news. I mean, it's for a while there, it seemed to be like the Galaxy were just breaking a bunch of negative records, but now they're starting to trend up. And we like when the data trends up. The data does not lie, folks. So let's look at the DC United. Let's look at DC United's data. After 21 matches, United hold a 4-10-7 record. 17 goals for, 39 against, 19 points, 0.9 points per game, a negative 22 goal differential. Good enough for 12th place. Their last match, as we mentioned a little earlier, was a 5-2 loss away to Nashville in the U.S. Open Cup, courtesy of the Pride of Pacoima, Johnny Bettis, who led the charge and the comeback against DC United. Their last league match was a scoreless draw at home, a drab affair, and it was 3 losses in a row before that, guys. 1-0 to Nashville at home, 2-0 to RSL away, and then it's almost like they saw the Galaxy get 7 hung up on them by New York, and they were like, yeah, we want some of that too. They got a 7-1 loss to Chicago at home. At least the Galaxy were on the road when they got their 7. Only 1 goal scored in the last 4 matches for this team, and they've conceded 10 in the last 4, guys. Only 1 win since May 3rd, which was DC, which was a 2-1 over Cincy, and that one was away. So that's actually a really good win. And you know, you look at this team and everything that's kind of befallen them, and you're like, wow, the Galaxy have company, right? But the Galaxy, like I said, are kind of trending up at the moment, while DC United is still continuing to trend down. Does this have trap game written all over it, Peyton?
Don't say it.
Is this on paper the Galaxy should be taking this one, but is this one like, man, they should have won it, but it was a trap game, and so they dropped it?
Yeah, I think this game's really going to show the direction of the Galaxy season. Coming off of back-to-back home wins, I think a lot of optimism is in the air. You're going to walk into that stadium, everyone's going to have a little belief, and this game could really make or break it. You know, if we win back-to-back home games, people are really going to start believing in this team. You know, but I think it could be a trap game just from the fact that you've seen individual players like Joao Klaus have a, you know, hat trick against the Galaxy. And like we talked about, you know, we can't say it enough, the fact that the aerial ability of DC United, they just spam crosses. They're like the 2019 LA Galaxy. It is worth noting that in their in their winless streak, they were without Christian Benteke for most of that. He's just now coming back from injury, and I think that is their team, really. I think everything revolves around him. Incredible player, Golden Boot winner last year. He's still got it, and I very much believe that he's capable of having a masterclass. That being said, DC United on paper, you know, I don't know. I'm really torn on this match. I don't think I've been this torn this year, because I really feel like it's either going to be like a 3-0 Galaxy or like a 3-0 loss. Like I'm so undecided on this game right now, but yeah, it definitely has a little trap game vibe around it, but I would hope that we avoid that.
We have a couple good comments out there at the moment. First off, let's wish our good friend and friend of the show, Mike Gray, aka Miggy Gris, good luck, because apparently he has an audition,
nice, Mike,
involving Ted Lasso tomorrow. So yeah, man, good luck, man. Remember us little people when you make it big and you're, you know, at the Oscars and stuff like that. All right. And just in general, a big shout out to everybody in chat right now. Man, wonderful comments out there. Joe 13 Cool says, Galaxy coming off of win, everyone's informed and happy. DC haven't won in LA in 20 years. It's a trap.
Yeah,
it's a trap. Trap game. We're worse than them. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Maybe in the standings, but just again, this Galaxy team has hung with really good teams this year, whereas again, I've seen a couple DC United games and they just really haven't looked good. As Peyton mentions, very one-dimensional in the attack and haven't been great in defense.
Yeah, I mean, on paper alone, we should. This is a 100% trap game, because the talent gap's huge.
It's a trap.
We've got Marco Reus, Joseph Paintsil, Gabriel Peck. I mean, they're literally a one-man attack, guys. So absolutely trap game, 100%. Just on paper, we should win this game. So
yeah.
which is why I'm scared. Well, guys, we already know where the Galaxy, who the Galaxy are going to be without. Ricky Puig is the absence here. It looks like John McCarthy has been cleared to play. And then at last look, Ananda, Christian Fletcher and Lucas McNaughton had been out. I don't know if that was the right.
Yeah, didn't update it. So, professional. We're professional here.
No, but that's okay. I covered it for you. Christian Fletcher, Lucas McNaughton. Really not that big of contributors to the CC United team. Between them, they only have 5 starts and a goal. So these are, we were speaking about the fringes earlier. Yeah. This is one of those. These are a couple of the fringe players for DC United. But speaking of, who could be in this team, this Galaxy team, the CC United team, let's look at this predicted starting lineup for the Galaxy. We've seen basically the same starting 11 for the past couple. Maybe there's been one change here or there. I think the only change was the game before. It was Zonka, I believe. But yeah. And so small change there, but essentially it's been the same lineup. Peyton, do you think Greg's finally found his ideal starting 11?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think these are his guys right now. We talked about the game Zonka started. I believe Maya Yoshida was injured for that match, and that's why he was on the bench. When he comes in fully healthy now, I think he's the guy. I think he's the starter for the LA Galaxy. That would be the only real position of contention, in my opinion. Maybe Lucas Sanabria could get a start over Diego Fagundes just for some rest. I think you may see rotation at a point for the Galaxy. It's worth noting that we play a match on Wednesday at home again. Absolutely. And then after that, you got El Tráfico. So maybe we rotate a bit, but this is the lineup for the Galaxy. If I had to make a lineup, it would be pretty much this. I think this is our full strength lineup.
Anandita, what do you think here? The one that we called out, or I called out incorrectly last week was Dieguito and Lucas Sanabria and that position there. I called for Lucas's return. Diego maintained his position and did wonderful in the last match. What do you think Greg might do in this one? Diego, Lucas, who it is?
Yeah. I really like Diego in that position, and maybe that was an oversight on my part. I thought, that was Lucas Sanabria's for really that starting position for the rest of the year. But Diego's been really good. I actually really like him more in that midfield instead of that left wing position. I don't think he has the speed anymore to play out in the wings. And really, we use our wings as threat, especially on the transition, right? And we get those outlets on either side. But Diego's, last game, he was just really good at knitting the play, kept the play very simple. He plays those neat triangles, those neat 1-2s with his guys. He's just a very heady player. And it was interesting, too, that he started dropping a little bit deeper, receiving the ball in sort of those middle areas where Serio would pick up the ball normally. But as I said, Rob, when we play with Aude and Yamane, Aude tends to take a higher starting position. So Serio is now the guy that's sort of acting as that third center back, if you will, in a build. So I think Diego in that role, dropping deep and receiving the ball and going the other way, I think that's been really working. But to Peyton's point, I think over the next 3 games, they come in quick succession. So I think this is going to be a game of game management or roster management for Greg. And I would expect, though, Lucas to get his opportunity against teams like LAFC, maybe a team like Austin as well. So, but I think for this game, I think he's just going to ride the hot hand and go with that starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, they did everything well. Well, not everything, but they did well in the last match, that 3-0 against Vancouver. So I would expect Greg to go back with his same starting 11. Nana, why don't you hit us up with a couple stats that might give us a couple more clues into what we're going to choose for predictions. And you know what? This time we don't have to fight over who goes first on predictions, because we're going to make our esteemed guests go first because we're hospitable, but we'll get there in a moment. Hit us up with some stats. Give us an idea of how we should go ahead and predict.
Well, I think it's no surprise to sort of the discussions that we've had without even looking in the stats. I think we know that DC United's not the greatest team, and if you look at it from an underlying stats perspective, I mean, offensively, they're not a good team. Rob, dead last, tied with Austin in goals per match, less than a goal a game. That's even less than the Galaxy. Rob, interesting one here, in that the next two oppositions that we play, amazingly, they've scored less goals than the Galaxy this season. So that's pretty amazing there. Shots on target per match, again, four shots on target per match. That's 24th in the league, bottom third. They don't create many big chances. Now, caveat all this because, as Peyton mentioned a second ago, Benteke has, he's missed a few games, right? And that's a huge part of their attacking threat. And wouldn't it be like the Galaxy to unwind a guy and get him on track?
Let him go off.
Let him go off, just like Joao Klaus, for example, right? And even defensively, I mean, they're not a great team on either side of the ball. You look at those defensive stats on there. I mean, yes, they do get stuck in fifth in the league in successful tackles per match, but again, on paper, like you murmured just a second ago, Rob, unfortunately, all these stats indicate to you that the Galaxy on paper should win this game. Now, here's a couple of, I think, key stats. If I were to pull out one key stat for this game, I think there's a couple, sort of stat 1A and 1B, and this goes to our earlier conversation about Benteke, guys. So both the Galaxy and DC United are tied for third most in the league at goals conceded from set pieces at 8. So that's one to look out for, is dead ball situations and set pieces. We know what a threat to Benteke is. We haven't been good this year defending them. DC United guys have allowed the most counterattack goals with 6, tied with Houston Dynamo. So maybe there is a chance on the break for us, and we use that speed to our advantage. Let's see if we can play that transition game. But again, to make that transition game work, we've always said, Rob, that we have to execute in the last phase, right? Which hasn't been. I think the last game was a nice sign of hopefully positive things to come, but that finishing in the final third isn't something that we've been accustomed to, at least in the last few games before that. So yeah, man, that's gonna be key right there. Maybe dead ball situations and a counter or a transition moment may be the things that decide this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. For DC United, it's whether they can capitalize on their dead ball deliveries and set piece moments. For the Galaxy, can they take advantage of those transition moments and punish DC United on the counterattack? And really, Peyton's absolutely right on DC United's attack. We've mentioned it a couple times already. Very one-dimensional, but it doesn't have to be varied if that one dimension is proving to be successful, right? So if the Galaxy do allow Benteke to go off, the man will punish them. He has 6 goals and an assist. No one else on the roster really comes close to that. Gabriel Pirani has 2 goals and 2 assists at the moment. And then Peglo has 2 goals and 2 assists as well. But they're only going to be as successful as Benteke allows them to be. Peyton, for the Galaxy to win this match, they have to ... fill in the blank.
Just prevent Benteke from scoring. That's it. Just win your aerial duels. We talk about the dead ball situations. I think that's very important. Seeing that they score that many goals from set pieces really scares me, because even last year we weren't particularly good at set piece defending, even when we were MLS Cup champions. So I will definitely go with that. I think winning aerial duels, the Galaxy need to win aerial duels to win this game. We have to get on the end of it, period. Whether we're defending or whether we have attacking set pieces, we have to get to the ball. We have to win 50-50. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with here.
Anandita, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think for me, simply put, man, we just have to manage the game like we did the last game. And like we always say, Rob, execute in the final third. I think this game more than any, because coming into it, I'm sure those guys after the last game, they're feeling confident. They are, feeling a lot better about themselves, but it only takes one moment. It only takes one game to get yourself back into that rut, right? So the question is, like, how do the Galaxy come out? How do they carry on that confidence from the last game? And I think part of that, man, is just executing, whether that's, like Peyton said, in dead ball situations, being defensively resolute, making sure that you communicate as a back four, as a back line, right? And making sure that whoever that defensive midfielder is gives enough coverage, but also in those attacking moments, if we're saying that dead ball situations and counterattacks are going to be the things that separate this game, you've got to execute on those particular game states. And, like I said, part of that in the transition for the Galaxy is scoring. Like if I can totally see a situation where in the first half, we're going to have 4 or 5 situations like we did in the first half of the last game, Rob, but we don't put one away. And it's going to frustrate the hell out of Greg Vanny. And it's going to put us in a really interesting situation second half, right? Because it only takes one Benteke header to put the crowd again at its mercy again. And it's a 1-0 game. And everyone's like, oh, here's the same old Galaxy. This is why we put in the title. Is a win streak incoming or the same old Galaxy? I guess we'll find out.
I mean, if that happens and they allow Benteke to go off after, the three of us pretty much know what the game plan is for DC United. And if the Galaxy allow this man to go off, it might be the first time I get thrown out of the press box, just in sheer anger, man, just like me cursing at everything, just because we know what the game plan is already, right? So for me, it's building blocks, man. Just building off of what they did last game. I mentioned it. They're kind of screwed now because now we know that they can put these performances together, which is why we hold this team to that standard, because they're on paper, we've said it all year, they should be winning these matches, and they're much better than the table implies. Now we've seen glimpses of that, and now we need them to keep building on that. And they got to believe as well, right? They got to see like, oh, snaps, we just did that, right? Give themselves their flowers and then build on that. Hey, we can do it because we've already done it, right? There's a lot of new faces and new players in this team that haven't tasted that success of last year. Well, hey, you're only going to start tasting the success of trophies if you start winning one game after one game. So again, building blocks for me, guys. They have to build on the last match to win this match.
Joe, I was gonna say, Joe 13 Cool says we need to finish the scoring chances, especially Peck and JP, especially. Yeah, we need to see the JP of last game, not the previous 21 games, right? I hope him seeing the ball go back in the back of the net twice. I'm hoping that helps his confidence, but we'll see. Like if he starts fluffing his lines in the front, in the first half, and he starts getting frustrated and throwing his arms up, and Peck too. Peck doesn't. There's so many times in that game, man, where Peck just needs to slide that ball and pick your head up, guys. Like just pick your head up a little bit. Look for your teammates. Marco's always going to make that nice run. Nasi's always going to make a nice run for you. So you just got to trust your teammates. And yeah, I'm just hoping that confidence, man, it flowed through to the next game. And I'm hoping JP, like I said, seeing that ball in the back of the net, hoping that carries through now.
I do think he's back, and I do think that Mama Pencil's
I hope you're right. I hope
good
right.
Ghanaian home cooking is going to propel him to greater heights, man. And now we just need that man Pecky to go off again, man. When they're both on, the Galaxy are dangerous, and if they have that man Marco Reus playing like he has been playing, feeding them the ball, the Galaxy should have enough on paper anyway to win this match. But statistically, we've given you guys everything you need to know. Let's see what Las Vegas has to think about it. Ananda and Dr. Raquinho have put together these betting odds here for y'all. Ananda, hit it.
Courtesy of the labs and D ratings. So DC United, 23.1% probability of winning at a 1.03 projected goals. Galaxy, 52%, Rob. Overwhelming favorites as the home team. 24% there for the draw. And again, projected goals, 1.68 to 1.03. So Vegas is saying 2-1 win Galaxy. And I don't blame them. On paper, we should win this game.
Yeah, on paper. Too bad the game is played on the field.
Yeah.
All right. So we got betting odds, and as promised, we're not going to fight this week about who's going to go first, because and amigo Peyton, he's going to be first. It is now that time.
Way to put our guests on the spot like that.
Yeah, no.
I'm here for it.
Look, he's been able to withstand these heinous allegations in the chat against him. So, he has a cool head, and I'm sure he's going to be able to go ahead and withstand the moment. Peyton, what do you think? this weekend at the Digs, July 12th, who's winning this one against the Galaxy versus DC United?
I think the Galaxy will win 3-1. I haven't been predicting very many wins as of recent, and I don't think the Galaxy have given a reason to predict wins, but I think they have now. I'm going to say that the Galaxy come out of this game 3-1. I think Nasty Nas is going to have a brace, and I think Joseph Paintsil. Yeah, I think Joseph Paintsil is in line for a goal. When you talk about DC United being very vulnerable in the counterattack, that just screams Joseph Paintsil to me. You know, his speed and what he's able to do in transition is just absolutely blistering. DC's backline's terrible. I think the Galaxy will make the best of it. I think Paintsil, it's not a talent issue, it's a confidence issue. Yep. And I feel like he has his confidence now to actually go out and score some goals for the Galaxy. So I think we will win this one 3-1, and I think it will be won in the transition game for the Galaxy. And, you know, on the other side, I think Benteke will have a goal. But, you know, Nasty Nas, brace. He's going to continue to prove why, you know, he should come back for 2026 for the LA Galaxy. So I believe in what Greg Van, you know, like we talked about, if we can game plan this, if we already know their game plan coming into this match and they still just execute it, they're like, you know what, our game plan and we don't even care. We're just going to beat you with it anyway. You know, we're going to be as transparent with how we're going to play as possible, and we're still going to beat you. That would be very frustrating.
Definitely.
But I think the Galaxy will get over the line. I think Greg Vanny will game plan better. Maybe the interim head coach boost gets them off to a lead in this match, but I just, you know, I don't think by the end of this match that the Galaxy will be losing, and I think it will be 3 straight wins at the Digs, and I will not be selling any sort of substances at the
Yeah, man, they're saying they're dogging you on those allegations, man.
It's Ant, dude. It's Ant.
Oh man. Well, Anandita, Peyton hits us up with a 3-1 win. You're up. Dale.
So my head pick is a
head and heart pick today, huh?
Yeah. Head pick is going to be, well, actually, let me start with the heart pick first. Heart pick is I'm probably with Peyton on this. I'm probably a 3-1. And my head pick is a 2-1 Galaxy. So Rob, either way, the Galaxy win this game. I'm overly confident, which might not be the best sign in the world, but I'm overly confident for some reason on this game. I think it's more that has to do with the opposition and how not good this team is versus the Galaxy. Now, granted, the Galaxy are trending the right way, and I think we saw a lot of positive signs. So let's put it this way: if they play like they did the last game, this should be light work. Like, this shouldn't be any problems. 3 points should be in the bag. I agree with some of the comments in chat. There should be no reason that we don't get 3 points out of this game, Rob. And the best part is Natita gets to see her first Galaxy win live from the lawn section of Dignity Health Sports Park. And we all leave happy, man. My dog leaves happy. Wife leaves happy. We're all happy. So and that's what we want is 3 points. And yeah, like I said, oh man, it's like scary saying that because like you said, that dreaded damn 2-letter word. But you know what? I'm gonna put a little faith on this team. And yeah, like I said, for me, this prediction has to do with I just don't think DC are very good at all. Like at all, Papa. At all.
Zlatan Goat says everybody wins because it's pups on the pitch. And that is very true. No matter what happens with the Galaxy on Saturday, we all win because there's going to be all these beautiful puppies at the pitch.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to cap it off with the Galaxy win too. I'm not going to be contrarian for contrarian's sake. I really do think the Galaxy have enough to beat DC United in this one. But like Peyton said, if the Galaxy know the game plan going in and they still cannot stop it, then they have massive problems. And I think the problems are more systemic at that point than we even realize. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Galaxy get a win here. And they keep it rolling. Peyton went out on a limb and called 3 straight. So I don't know if that means the one against Austin or no, just the last one. Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, Peyton's calling a win. Nana's calling a win. I'm calling a win. I'm calling another shutout. I'm calling a 2-0.
Rob, just put out the reverse juju out there, because we need like some reverse like counter like juju. Like what was that thing, Peyton? Right, like on your
The
pod,
Talking
like
Galaxy curse, dude.
yeah, the
It's
Talking
we all
Galaxy
predicted
curse.
a win this week, you know.
So we all know what that means.
Nah, we're gonna go ahead and throw salt over our left shoulder here in a moment, and
Yeah,
you know,
garlic cloves in the locker room, exactly.
blessings.
Exactly. We you know, Brother Joseph is a man of faith, and he's every time we talk to him, he's talking about how he believes and he believes and he believes, even when it was going wrong. You know, we gotta believe with him, man. All of us have called a Galaxy win. Chat seems to be there with us. We have a couple of different Galaxy wins. LA Galaxy in 2025 says 1-0 Galaxy. Lex says 2 clean sheets, 2 wins. Galaxy are 100% when they don't give up a goal. Damn true. El Tráfico Radio says Galaxy 3-0 victory. What else we got over here, Ananda?
We have Matthew.
We have
3-1.
Primo Matthew 3-1. I love to see it.
Rocio,
the
tie,
one and
2-2.
only 2-2 tie. Ooh,
I would hate. I would be upset actually with that result.
Oh no. One and only, you know, I love you, but I hope you're wrong on this one. I do hope you're wrong. XPH says Galaxy go down 2-0 early, but end up turning it around and winning 3-2 in stoppage time with a Sanabria goal. Mad scenes at the digs if that happens.
I'm with you. Shout out Labra. I'm with you, man. I'm expecting 3 points from this game.
Yeah,
no excuse. I'm expecting 3 points from this game. Speaking of the Habra sports fan, you know, we haven't shouted this out in a while, but you know, let us know where you're representing from. We do appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to this pod. Let us know where you're tuning in from. La Habra, we see you out there. Blessings to you.
Hey, Papa, really quick. I was just gonna say, like, this. I might be reading too much into this, but one thing I'll leave you guys with, and something I've been thinking about too, is, you know, we see all those pictures with Ricky being back in training, being with the guys. I don't think we can underestimate, just like I said, I've always thought he was the heart and soul of this team. I've always thought he was the emotional engine of this team. I think his presence being around the team, being around the locker room, I think that's going to do something to these guys if it hasn't yet. I feel like he's a super positive presence in the locker room, and that he's just like just his personality, his spunkiness. I miss his cheesemate. I miss his keeping the receipts. Like, I miss all that. And I think the guys in the locker room miss that too. And I think they feed off of his personality. And I'm hoping that that's sort of like an additional positive factor, like a motivational, emotional factor for these guys, that they have their emotional talisman, actually their talisman in general, point blank, back in that locker room with them on the sidelines in his favorite little roped off spot, right next to the Galaxy bench where he loves to pick up the game. So it's great having him back, man, for sure. Positive vibes.
No, definitely. You can see it on everybody's faces what the lift was.
XPH, Papa, too soon, Papa, too soon. He says real quick, and on the too soon for Xabi out. Papa, the Xabi Alonso revolution is coming. Don't worry. I don't know why he played a 4-3-3. He should have stuck with the 3-5-2. But let's you and I start. Let's start a Madrid. Let's start a Madrid channel on the side, because I can talk about that all day. Anyways.
So we got La Habra representing, we got Apple Valley representing, we got Hawthorne and Torrance saying what's real good out there. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for listening to this pod. You guys heard it. Everybody on this podcast right now is calling a Galaxy win this Saturday against DC United. On Monday, July 14th, we'll bring you a DC United reaction for that match and an Austin preview as well for the midweek match happening on Wednesday, July 16th. And the next day, a week from now, on Thursday, the 17th, we'll be back with you to bring you an Austin FC reaction for that Wednesday match. And before we get out of here, we want to thank our special guest, Peyton Bedouin, one more time. Oh, we got Bellflower. And Paris. And thank you guys once again out there in chat. But yeah, let's show a lot of love to our special guest for the day, Peyton Bedouin from Talking Galaxy. You can reach him there on the IG at LAGalaxy_Buzz. Papa, thank you so much once again. Open invitation. Drop by whenever, man. We definitely love having you on, man.
No, I appreciate it very much. I always enjoy being on here. The chat's very lively. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe while you're here if you haven't already. I am LAGalaxy_Buzz, as you've said. I post on Instagram mainly. I don't have any other real platforms. And yeah, thank you guys once again. Appreciate it. Every time I'm on here, I appreciate it very much.
And guys,
I love what you guys do.
Go over her. Thank you, man. Go over and raid that channel. Go ahead and subscribe to Talking Galaxy, because if you haven't yet, I don't know what y'all are doing. So go ahead and raid that channel and hit up those subscribes, guys.
Yep. Shout out Talking Galaxy.
Yeah, and all those allegations in chat are unfounded, and shame on you guys. Let's go ahead and end this one on a positive. Chat, you guys were lovely again. Thank you so much, and thank you to our special guest. And really, there's only one thing left to say. Nanda,
Dale.
you know what it is. G's up.
Te queremos, chat.